Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating. We're going to be exploring a really profound 18-point philosophical guide written by Zhu Feng in 2022, originally titled Being a Human, Knowledge 2. You know, this text is essentially a survival roadmap for thriving in times of extreme chaos. So let's just dive right into it.
Picture this, a completely barren, drought-stricken wasteland. In the middle of all this devastation, where literally everything else has withered away, there's a patch of grass that survives and stays green. Why? Because its roots are planted incredibly deep. Zhu Feng uses this as a really powerful metaphor for human resilience. During massive social upheavals, widespread epidemics, and unexpected disasters, the people who manage to remain unscathed are the ones who are deeply rooted in the integrity of being human.
So, that begs the big question, right? How do we actually survive the storm? That is the central question driving this entire explainer. What we're looking at here is a survival guide for navigating modern chaos, taking these somewhat abstract ideas of integrity and turning them into practical, everyday rules. To understand that, we really have to look at Zhu Feng's foundational premise. He argues that the world operates on this strict cosmic consequence system, often called karma, or the heavenly net. And here's the absolute kicker. The text asserts that you cannot escape this net with mere human wit, cleverness, or intelligence. Since we just can't outsmart the universe, we have to instead learn the concrete knowledge of how to be a true human being. To break all this down, we've got a roadmap. We just covered our roots in the wasteland, and next up, we'll look at guarding the mind, actions of true integrity, navigating human connections, respecting the natural way, and finally, reaching the ideal shore.
Part 1. Guarding the mind, navigating with the inner compass. Okay, so think about how quick we all are to judge the people around us, right? To define their faults and merits. Well, Rousseau Falong says our cognitive ability is just way too limited to see the grand cosmic script. Judging others actually risks committing grave mistakes. The solution? Leaving the ultimate judgment of right and wrong entirely to the divine. It's a massive call for intellectual humility.
Because of that limited perspective, we really have to fiercely protect our minds from falsehoods. First off, do not believe hearsay unless you can absolutely prove it yourself, especially when society feels totally upside down. The person being attacked could actually be the most noble, and the one getting loudly praised might be despicable. Also, just admit when you don't understand something. Actually, scratch pretending, because you'll inevitably be mocked and suffer for it. Keep yourself grounded, avoid bizarre, mystical speech, and just respect facts, science, logic, and your own clear intuition. Part 2. Actions of true integrity. Doing the work.
So what does true integrity actually look like day to day? It requires absolute honesty, diligence, and totally avoiding manipulative shortcuts. Here's a fantastic litmus test for your behavior. Never do anything you'd have to hide out of fear. Never fabricate facts. Honesty is always the best policy, no matter what. Keep your head down, focus on accomplishing the task in front of you, and honestly, stop gossiping. Most importantly, strictly avoid relying on bribes, connections, or exploiting legal loopholes. You just have to do the honest work.
And there's this one line that really hits hard. Without completion, you will end up adrift like a floating duckweed. If you don't finish what you start, and by the way, the text explicitly includes bringing closure to relationships with other people in this rule, you completely lose your anchor. You lack follow-through, and you're just going to float aimlessly away.
Part 3. Navigating human connections. Avoiding the rocks. 0. According to the text, this is exactly the number of human favor debts you should ideally owe. Seriously, exactly 0.
Why 0?
Well, Zhu Feng puts it like this in an incredibly uncompromising line. Human favor is a rope that binds gods. Basically, once you owe someone a favor and it goes uncompensated, you're effectively trapped for life. It's the ultimate loss of your personal freedom and autonomy.
And beyond avoiding favors, we've got to set some strict social boundaries to maintain our independence. Avoid borrowing money or falling into debt-driven consumption. Don't tie yourself to a pity bandwagon just because someone else is pitiable. Stay on your own path and steer clear of wildly popular figures so you don't get dragged around by fleeting trends. It's okay to endure humiliation, but never easily kneel, because once you do, it's incredibly hard to stand back up. Finally, stay off the moral high ground when it comes to private matters between consenting adults. Don't follow the crowd's judgments. Cultivate good speech instead.
Part 4. Respecting the natural way. Flowing with the current.
Now, think about our human impulse to just force things to happen. Zhu Feng explicitly warns against this. Forcing outcomes totally goes against the natural way. and doing so will inevitably sow the seeds of future calamity. Instead, we have to let things progress naturally to their proper conclusion. The text describes a beautiful natural timing to life, like water naturally flowing to form a channel, or letting a melon ripen until it naturally detaches from the vine. Honoring that natural order means having deep reverence. The text specifically urges us not to abuse animals, like snakes, turtles, or cranes, and, above absolutely everything else, we must never harm human life. This reverence also extends to foundational institutions. Shui Feng explicitly instructs the reader not to attack the homeland, the people, or the ancestors. He takes a firm, uncompromising stance on maintaining respect for these established pillars of life and heritage. Not taking any specific political side, but rather emphasizing a broader cosmic harmony. Which brings us to part 5, reaching the ideal shore. So, remember where we started all of this. The journey of life is filled with sudden crises, and our human intelligence alone, it's just not enough to save us. Xi Feng's ultimate message is that sticking to these 18 principles of integrity isn't just about being a good person. It literally acts as your ultimate survival vessel. Integrity is the sailboat that gets you safely through the stormy waves, allowing you to finally reach the shores of your ideals. So, I'm going to leave you with this provocative final thought. How are you steering your sailboat of life through today's stormy waves? Seriously, think about it. Which of these 4 anchors, guarding your mind, acting with true integrity, navigating human connections, or respecting the natural way, do you desperately need to drop into your own life right now? Take a moment to reflect on that and start building those deep roots today.